guys, and welcome to the second session in our cardiac rehab stand-in series. This session is designed to be a little bit more advanced than session 1, so we're going to add on a couple of different exercises and elongate the session a little bit more. Some of you may have joined us after finding session 1 a little bit too easy. That's fine. Same rules apply here. If you're finding this too easy and you're RPing at below 13, then move on to the next session. We want you to find the session at the right level so you feel like you're doing something and it's a little bit challenging, but you're not too out of breath. If you find that that's suitable in this circuit, stick with it for a few more times and move on to the next one when you feel comfortable. Make sure that you've watched the videos on RPE so you understand what we're talking about when we discuss those levels. As always, make sure the space that you're exercising in is free of clutter. You're not going to trip up over anything. We're going to use a dining chair today for a few of the exercises, and we're going to use some small weights. I've got some tins of beans, but if you've got some light dumbbells, tins of beans, bottles of water or resistance bands are all perfectly fine. Same rule applies as always, only exercise if you're feeling well enough to do so. Never exercise through any chest pain, and use the correct protocols if needed. Please read the following information carefully. Okay, so now we're ready to get warmed up, and as always it's really important to incorporate a warm-up before any exercise and a cool down at the end of any exercise. So we're going to get started, and we're going to start by tapping the heels. So we're going to tap right foot first and then the left foot. Okay, so let's go. So we're just tapping the heels forwards and backwards, just getting those legs moving. So it's really important, no matter what exercise you do, that you get a good warm-up in. It increases the heart rate, increases the coronary blood flow, and allows you to feel better during the workout, prevents angina and those sort of things. So it's really important. And we're just going to take all of these exercises to a level that you feel comfortable with. And for today's workout, we're going to do 12 stations, and we're going to have a 20-second rest in between each one, where I'm going to explain the next exercise. Okay, so we're keeping those heels tapping, and in a moment we're going to take it out to the side tap. Okay, so we're going to tap right foot first and left foot. Just tapping the toes to wherever feels comfortable. You haven't got to overstretch on this. If you struggle with any joint problems or mobility problems, just tap to wherever feels comfortable. If you need to hold on to a chair at any point for a bit of balance, that's fine. So we're just getting those legs moving and starting to get a little bit warmer. And if at any point you find that you need a rest, try and bring it back to one of these movements. So a heel tap, a side tap, or a march, which is what we're going to go into in a moment. Try and avoid stopping all of a sudden. If you need a rest or need a sip of water, slow down steadily. Bring it back down to a light march. Okay, so we're going to go into a march now then. Just lifting the feet off the floor, but we're not raising them too high at the moment. Just a small march. A little swing of the arms if you wish to. Keeping those feet moving. And then we're going to repeat those exercises again. So we're going to take it back into the heel dig, but we're just going to increase the pace a little bit. Okay, so we're going to start with that right heel again, tapping forwards and bringing it back. So we're just going a tiny bit faster than we did first time round. And as always, warming up and cooling down, we want you to RPE around 11, so you can find this quite light. If this were to feel too challenging and you're RPEing around 13, slow the pace down or take it back down to seated. And we have all of the chair-based series as well that you can try if you find that the standing is a little difficult. Equally, like I say, if this feels too easy when you've done this workout, then move on to the next in our sessions. Okay, and in a moment we're going to take it back to that side tap. Okay, right foot goes out and then left. So we're tapping left to right, keeping those feet moving, just getting the body warmed up nicely. And then in a moment we're going to go back to the march, but we're going to get the arms moving as well. Okay, so let's take it back to a march then. We'll swing the arms to begin with, and then in a moment we're going to add some more arm exercises. You should feel a little bit warmer now, but again, you shouldn't feel too out of breath. At any point during the workout, if you find that you're becoming a bit short of breath and you're not able to hold a full sentence, then slow it down. We want you to be able to talk in full sentences. Okay, so in a moment we're going to keep this march going, but we're going to add in a bicep curl with the arms. So we're not using any weights just yet, but we're just getting the arms moving. Okay, so as we're marching, we're going to bring the arms up and take them back down. So just bringing the hands up to the shoulders and back down. You might find that some of these are a little bit difficult to coordinate. Doesn't matter what way you're doing it, as long as you're moving. Getting the arms and legs moving at the same time, it's going to get the body warmed up. So we're going to keep the feet moving now, but we're going to take the arms into a chest press. So we're going to bring the hands up to shoulder height and we're going to push forwards and backwards. So we're taking the hands, palms facing outwards, push forwards and bringing them back. Okay. Trying to keep the feet moving if we can do. Keeping those arms moving, and then in a moment we're going to take it out to a side raise. Should feel a little bit warmer now. Heart rate up a little bit, but you shouldn't be too out of breath. Okay, so we're going to take the hands down to the sides now, and we're going to raise them up to shoulder height and back down. We're not holding them up there for any particular length of time, we're just moving them up and down. If you struggle with the mobility in your shoulders and it's a bit difficult to get your arms up to shoulder height, just bring them down slightly. Go to wherever's comfortable with this movement. Okay, we'll do a couple more of these and then we're going to do some shoulder rolls. Okay, so we're going to try and keep that march going and we're going to do 5 big shoulder rolls backwards. Okay, that's 1, that's 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Now let's go same but forwards this time, 5 forwards. That's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Okay, we're going to do same again, 5 forwards, 5 backwards. Let's go. 5 back, and 3, and 4, and 5, and final time, let's go 5 forwards. That's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Okay, so we're just keeping that march going. Let's give the wrists 5 rotations. That's 3, and 4, and 5. Okay, we'll do the same with the ankles now, so you might want to hold on to something at this point. So let's do 5 one way, and then 5 the other way. Okay, foot down, left foot now, 5 one way, and 5 the other way. And 5. Brilliant. Okay, so we're nice and warmed up and we're ready to get some exercise. So like I say, this workout now we're going to do 12 stations, 1 minute per station, and we're going to have a 20-second rest in between each exercise, and I'm going to explain what the next exercise is. Okay, so the first exercise we're going to start with is your sit to stand. So feet hip distance apart, arms across the chest. Let's go. So we're standing up and down. As soon as your bum touches the chair, you're going to stand back up again. And you're keeping your heels flat on the floor at all times, so you're driving all the weight through the legs. So as you stand up, you're imagining that somebody's pulling a rod up through your body, keeping you nice and upright. We're not leaning forward as we're standing. And if you keep your elbows up, that means that you're more likely to stay up straight. If you bring your elbows down, sometimes people have a tendency to fall forwards a little bit. If you need to push off from your legs, by all means do so, but if you can, try and keep the arms across the chest, and that's going to encourage the legs to work harder. So we've got 10 more seconds and we're into the first rest. And we're into that rest. Okay, so keep the toes tapping as you're resting. And the next exercise that I'm going to demonstrate is your bicep curl. So we're going to use those weights this time. We're going to curl the arms up and down. Okay, so we're not swinging them too far behind, we're stopping level with the body. Okay, let's go then. So we're bringing the weights up to the shoulders and the arms back down. And if you can, try and wiggle the toes in the shoes, or try and have a little march as you're doing this. Sometimes a little bit more difficult to coordinate, but if you can keep the legs moving, that keeps that blood flowing and prevents you from feeling any faint or dizziness. Take this to the pace that you wish to. If you've got some weights, add them in, but if you haven't, that doesn't matter. Curling the arms up and down. 20 more seconds. Okay, we're keeping those arms moving. Five seconds and we're into the next rest. Okay, pop those weights down. Keep the feet moving or the toes wiggling. The next exercise I'm going to demonstrate is your knee raise. So we can either use the chair and raise the knees up and down, or you can stand without the chair, lifting the knees up and down. You can rest side on if you need to. Okay, let's go then. Right leg up and the left leg. Just lift the knee to wherever's comfortable. You haven't got to lift it too high if that's difficult or if it's causing any joint problems. Planting that foot nice and firmly back on the floor. Okay, keeping that movement going. And if you do need to take a rest at any point, just slow the pace down and take it back down to a steady march. Try to avoid stopping all of a sudden. That's where you can start to feel a bit dizzy or a bit faint. Okay, we've got 10 more seconds. 5 seconds and we're into the next rest. Okay, so just keeping those toes tapping. I'm going to move my chair out of the way, and the next one we're going to do is going to be a side raise. So we're going to add the weights in, raise the arms up to shoulder height and back down again. We're not swinging the arms too much and we're not holding them out tensed for too long. Okay, let's go then. Up and down, and we're either having a bit of a march, we're wiggling the toes in the shoes, or we're just tapping those feet as we're doing it. Okay, up and down. And you want to find a weight that's comfortable to do this for a minute. If you've got a weight that's too heavy and you're really having to strain after a few of these repetitions, then that's too heavy. Swap it for a lighter weight. Again, if it's a bit uncomfortable on the shoulder, then don't go so high. Just go to wherever's comfortable with this one if you suffer with any shoulder problems. Keeping that movement going for another 10 seconds. And then we're into the next rest. Three seconds. Okay, pop those weights down then. And you can have that rest. Have a sip of water if you need to. Keep the feet moving, keep the toes tapping. Next exercise that we're going to do is a march. So same as what we've done when we've warmed up, but we're going to bring the knees up a bit higher and bring a swing in with the arms. Okay, so let's get started then. Off we go. So we're driving with the arms a little bit more now. We're taking it into a bit more of a power march. And again, we want to be exercising to a level where you feel like you're doing something, so it's not too easy, but you're still able to hold a conversation. If somebody were to ask you a question, you could answer them in a full sentence. If you're struggling to catch your breath or you're struggling to answer in a full sentence, then slow the pace down. Catch your breath. Let's keep this march going. Let's try and increase the pace a little bit. Another 10 seconds. 5 seconds and we're into the next rest. Okay, back into that rest, then take some deep breaths, catch your breath. Next exercise that I'm going to demonstrate is a chest press. So we did this when we warmed up, but we're going to add some weights in now. So we're going to bring the hands up to the shoulders, push forwards and bring them back. Okay, let's start then. So forwards and backwards. Again, if we can, let's get the feet moving a little bit. And we're just keeping the arms at shoulder height. We're not getting any higher than that. And we're also not holding the arms out for too long. We're just going forwards and backwards. Keeping that breathing nice and smooth throughout. Don't hold your breath on any of these exercises. Let's keep that going. Keep those arms moving and the legs moving. 10 more seconds. Okay, back into that rest again. So again, keep those feet moving or your toes wiggling. And the next one we're going to do some butt kicks. Okay, so you're going to start with your feet hip distance apart. You're going to curl the leg up and then bring the other leg up. You can use a chair if you wish to for this one. So let's start right foot to right bum. Okay, so we're going up and down on this. Just take the leg to wherever's comfortable. If it hurts your knee to bend that far, then take it lower down. You don't have to use the chair for this one. If you feel like you're balanced enough, then you can do this without the chair. You don't have to hold on to anything, and you're just moving the legs and adding a little bit of a bounce into this one. So we're going to keep that going. You might just want to hold onto the chair with one hand if you want a little bit of support. Don't want anybody wobbling over. Be sensible, listen to your body, work within your own limits. Okay, another 10 seconds on this one. Should feel this in the legs a little bit now. Okay, and we're back into that rest, okay? I know I can feel it in my legs a bit now. So the next exercise that I'm going to demonstrate, we're back with the weights and we're onto an upright row. So we're starting with the weights down there, lifting them up and lifting the elbows up and back down. We're not doing that, we're doing a full movement. Let's take the elbows up, okay? If we can have a little bit of a march on this one, it's a little bit more difficult to coordinate this one, so you might want to tap the heels or the toes forwards and backwards. That might be a little bit easier. And we're raising and lowering. And you're keeping the weights reasonably close into the body as we're doing this. We're not lifting with them out here, we're lifting with them up into the body. Elbows out, chest lifted nice and upright. Okay, we're keeping that going. Doing really well. Almost there, and we're back into that rest in a moment. Okay, so we're back into that rest. We're going to pop those weights down. And the next exercise, we're going to do a side step with a side raise. So we've done both of these on their own, but we're going to add them together now, okay? So we're going to go out and then out to the other side, raising the arms as we go. Okay, let's start. Okay, right and then left. Now if you wish to, you can add a weight into this, but if this feels challenging enough, you don't have to add a weight in. Work within your limits and listen to your body. If it's too easy and you feel like you're RPEing at 11, then add a weight into this one. Equally, if it gets a bit too hard, and this is a bit challenging, you can take the arms out and just take it back into a side tap. So you don't have to do the full movement if it's getting a bit difficult. Do whichever you feel comfortable with. We're aiming to get to that level where you feel like you're doing something, but you're not completely out of breath. You're still able to talk. Okay, doing really well. We're well over halfway now, only a couple more to go. Okay, and we're back into that rest. Catch your breath, have a sip of water. Next one we're going to do is a calf raise. So again, you can use the chair if you've got one, Hands on the chair, and we're going to lift onto the toes and back down. Feet hip distance apart. Keep yourself balanced. Let's go. Up and down. You can use a work top if you haven't got a chair or something that's sturdy for you to rest onto. If you feel like you're balanced enough to do it without the chair, that's fine. You can do it without the chair, not a problem. We're going up and down. You should feel this all in the bottom part of your leg. Onto the toes and back down. Keeping the chest nice and upright as you're doing this. Keeping that posture nice and good. Almost there. Okay, perfect. And we're back into that next rest, okay? Keep those feet moving. So the next exercise that I'm going to demonstrate is going to be your wall press up. Okay, so I'm going to go over to this wall. Arms are going to go at shoulder height, feet hip distance apart, not too far away from the wall. Okay, so we're going to bend down and back up. We're stopping a couple of inches away from the wall. I don't want anybody banging the nose into the wall. And elbows are going out as you're doing this one. Okay, out and in. If you move your feet a bit further back, that makes this a little bit more difficult. You can also use a lower work surface if you want to make it more difficult. If you've got a countertop or something like that, just make sure that you hook your thumbs underneath so you don't fall forwards. And again, don't hold your breath throughout any of these exercises. Keep that breathing nice and natural. Do really well. We're almost into that rest and we've got one more exercise to do. There we go, so last rest period then. Keep those toes tapping. And the last exercise we're going to do is a split stance sit to stand, which is a bit of a mouthful. So feet go a little bit offset, one slightly in front of the other, arms across the chest, and we stand and lower. Okay, let's put right foot forward and we're going to do 5. That's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Okay, sit down, make sure you sat before you switch your feet. Let's put the left foot in front this time. Okay, let's do 5 of those. That's 1. We're pushing all the way through the legs on this one, keeping your heels flat on the floor. That's 3. That's 4. And that's 5. Brilliant, let's switch again. Let's do 2 more on each of these. That's 1 and 2. Let's see if we can get 2 more in on the other leg before the timer runs out. That's 1 and 1 more. That's 2. Perfect. Let's do 1 more on each leg. There's 1, last 1 and 1. Perfect. Okay, brilliant. So we're all done for the main part of the workout. Now it's really important that we cool down. So we don't want to stop all of a sudden. We don't want to think that's it, done the workout, let's go off and do whatever you want to do. Let's have a nice steady cool down. It's equally as important as the warm up. Okay, so we're going to start then with some heel digs. You've done these loads of times now, so you know what they are. So let's get those heels tapping forwards and backwards. And this is designed now to bring the heart rate and blood pressure down steadily, prevent any faintness or dizziness or anything like that, get rid of any adrenaline that's built up whilst you've been exercising and prevent any dodgy rhythms. It's really important. Sometimes when you take certain cardiac medications, if you take beta blockers or ACE inhibitors or things like that, if you stop exercising, all of a sudden you can get a sudden drop in your heart rate and your blood pressure and you can feel a little bit faint. So this is why we do a cool down. And the more intense you've been exercising, the more important it is to cool down. Okay, so we're just tapping those heels now, forwards and backwards, and in a few moments we're going to take it out to a side tap. Okay, let's take the right foot out and the left foot. So it's just nice and simple movements for the cool down, no weights involved. And we're just going to gradually slow down the pace a little bit. And again, the same principle applies that we said in the previous video. If you found that exercise session too easy, and your RPE scores for the majority of those exercises were below 13, then move straight on to the next session. If you found that was the right level for you and you found it a little bit challenging, stick with this one. I want you to do it a few times a week if possible, maybe add in some walks as well if you can do, and then move on to the next session when you feel comfortable. Okay, in a moment we're going to take this into a march. Okay, so let's just take it into a nice steady march now, just a gentle swing of the arms. And again, if there are any exercises or any part of that workout that you were unsure of, or that you need any questions answering on, then please make sure you get in touch with the cardiac rehab team prior to doing it again. Keep those feet moving now, nice and steadily. Nothing too difficult at this point. Warming up and cooling down should feel quite light. If it feels too difficult, sit yourself down and do it seated. Okay, we're just keeping that march going, and then we're going to go again back into the heel digs. Okay, so let's go right foot forward and left foot. So we're just slowing the pace a little bit more now. So warming up, we want to increase the pace. Cooling down, we want to bring it back down nice and steadily. There we go, keeping the feet moving. And in a moment, we'll take it out to the side tap again. And the next session, session 3, we're going to add on a few other exercises and we're going to increase the time again. Okay, so let's go right foot out now and then left foot. So just nice, steady, gentle side taps. We're not stepping too far out. We're just going to wherever's comfortable. We want this pace and this intensity to be a little bit lower than what we did when we were working out. Your breathing rate should be down now. Should be feeling a bit more comfortable. And then again in a moment, we're going to take it back into the march. Bringing the pace down again, just ever so slightly. Okay, so let's bring it back into the march. Now again, just a very gentle swing in the arms. We're not power walking at this point. This can feel like a bit of a stroll in the park. Again, if you need to hold on to a chair for a bit of support, that's absolutely fine. Just nice, gentle, steady breathing at this point. Don't hold your breath for any of the exercises. And then again in a moment, we're just going to take the pace down a little bit more and we're going to do a few shoulder rolls. So let's bring the pace down now, and we're going to bring it back to those heel digs. And as we're doing that, we're going to do a few shoulder rolls or shrugs if you can't do a shoulder roll. Let's do 5 backwards, okay? So that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and 4, and 5. And then we'll do the same forwards. Let's go 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. One last one, and 5. Let's do the same again then, 5 backwards and 5 forwards. A little bit more difficult to coordinate this as you're moving your feet. So if you're finding it difficult, you can just keep the toes wiggling and do it as the toes are wiggling. Okay, so let's go again. That's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. One last one, that's 5. And same again, 5 forwards. Let's go 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Okay, so as we're keeping those feet moving, we're just going to do that bicep curl again. So bringing the arms up and down, just nice and steady as we're doing these ones, no weights involved. This should feel nice and easy now. If it doesn't, take the arms out and just take it down into the heel dig without the arms. Okay, we'll do a couple more of those and then we'll go into some wrist rotations. Okay, so we're just trying to keep those feet moving a little bit. Let's do 5 wrist rotations. That's 2, 3, and 4, and 1 more. That's 5. Okay, let's give some ankle rotations then. You might want to hold on at this point. Let's do 5 one way. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 5 the other way. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. Pop the foot down. Left leg, let's go for 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and then the other way. 1. Some clicks can be normal here. Bit of air releasing from the joints, but if it's painful, then put your foot down. Let's do one last one. Okay, fab. So that's your session finished then. That's session 2 complete. If that was really easy or really comfortable, then move straight on to session 3. If you felt that that was a good level for you and it challenged you, then stick with this one a few more times until you feel it's comfortable and then move on to the next session. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you.